Blah! So we started off with a great a great technical fail. That is amazing. Hey, it's Lynn Marie. Happy Friday. I'm guessing a lot of you are getting off work right now. And I just wanted to stop and tell you about my favorite recent quit because it may bring a little bit of extra joy to your weekend. So, a little background. You know, most of us have our phones on all the time. They ding, they vibrate, they whatever. And for many years I thought I have to have mine on. What if there's like a medical emergency, some imaginary medical emergency that was always going to happen in my head? How often did it actually happen? Almost never. But always left notifications on, and we're talking like overnight I would leave them on. So finally I got to the point where I realized, oh, waking up at 4 a.m. for Google sending me like a spam mail is not worth it. So got to the point where I turned them off overnight, but kept them on during the day. And the most disturbing would be if I kept them on while I was seeing patients at work, and at some point in time I was in two jobs. And so I was working, seeing patients, and then I had another job that was the other 30 hours a week. And I would be getting like Slack notifications from the other job while I was seeing patients in the first job, and notifications were just going off 24/7. And I don't know about you, but it's really hard to stay focused on what you're doing when there's this sudden distraction, right? So not only was it distracting, but for me, sometimes anxiety producing, because unless it's a spam type of situation, and most of those I had filtered out, usually notification means somebody wants something of you. And so there would be that instant, like, what does somebody need? I'm needed right now. Okay. And so I could be in a kind of a tranquil situation, even if, if I'm seeing a patient and it's all going fine, but then the notifications start coming, especially if a number of them come rapid fire. I was like, oh, there's a house on fire. Like I need to spring into action now, but I have to see the patient. And there was this kind of internal angst. So at some point in time, I decided I'm going to try a little experiment. I'm going to leave notifications completely off, like no vibration, nothing. And I went to work, I left them off. No fires occurred. If somebody really needed me, they could call. Like at some point in time, I would notice the phone light up with a phone call if there was some kind of emergency. But guess what? Like the world kept turning and nothing bad happened. And what good happened was that my anxiety level was a lot lower because there was not this constant thought of like, oh, who needs me? What's going on? What's happening? When I would check it and it would be like a thank you to a text I'd sent 3 days prior or something, nothing important. So for your weekend, if you want to enjoy it more and be more mindful, more present in the moment, all those good things that is going to lead to, those good things that are going to lead to more enjoyment, I suggest you make that little quit with me. Put your notifications on silent. Or even if you want to expand this back into your work week, if you have something like Slack, we all know who I'm talking to here, kids, put it to only where the important notifications go off. Because one of two things can happen if everything notifies you. Then nothing is going to cause any kind of acknowledgement, and you never know when something is important. If every time your email goes off, you get a notification on your phone, how distracting. Half of those are like 20% off eyewear, like stuff you don't need. And you're going to be missing things because some important things will come through, or you're going to want to just get frustrated and turn them all off, and then you're going to miss things as well. So think about what notifications come in. Whether or not you have actual sound on them, maybe your screen just lights up every time that, somebody likes your post on Instagram. Maybe that's not really that important. In fact, it's probably better to kind of wean yourself off of that type of thing and just check Instagram when you're bored in line or something. You don't need to every 5 seconds be, who needs me? Who wants me? Oh, I got a like. Like you're going to get 70 of those, whatever. Like check it later and see that you got 35 of them. There's no reason to stop what you're doing and check. Other thing I would say is that there has been science behind the fact that every time you check a notification of any sort, you have to stop what you're doing, redirect your focus, then go back. And you lose critical seconds. We don't all have this extreme amount of extra time around. Why don't we make the most out of it? Let's be productive. Use the time that we need to be working to work. Say you're in the middle of a process and you're doing the deep work or whatever, and then you check your Instagram and you're all of a sudden off in this other land. It takes your mind a few seconds, but could be up to minutes to refocus. What was I working on? What was I doing? So for like 1,000 reasons, quitting notifications on whatever level you're comfortable with. And like for me, it was a process, quit the nighttime ones. Okay, now I'm at a point where my lovely massage therapist will have to send me a text that says, Morski, turn your phone on, because the poor guy has been outside like waiting for me to let him in because my ringer is off. But now I know, it's a conscious thing, like, okay, I'm expecting somebody to text or call or whatever. I'll turn the ringer on. But I leave it off most of the morning so I can work out without being interrupted every 30 seconds. Oh, what's happening? I have to run over there from whatever exercise I was doing. Not necessary. Most people do not need you instantly. And if they do, they're probably going to keep pinging you until you see it. So just a thought going into your weekend, a little quit that may make things better. Anyway, if you have any other thoughts about whether you've tried quitting notifications, if you think it'd be helpful, if you think it'd be a disaster, I would love to hear that too. Or any other little quits that you've tried that you'd want to discuss, and maybe I could pass them on to everybody else. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.